live with Tao, mind and mind stuff. Mind and mind stuff are two separate things that you need to understand. Mind is composed of knowledge, conditionings, thoughts, and all that comes from outside. For a logician, knowledge must be expressible. That which can be known can be made known to others as well. There is no problem in it. If you know something, then what's the problem and where is the problem? You can make it known to the others. But this is the knowledge that, the word knowledge, that this is the way the logician understands from the word knowledge. But for mystic, knowledge is not of thoughts. Knowledge is not of thoughts, conditionings, ideologies. He has not known it as a thought. He has known it as a feeling. So really it is not good to say, I know God. It is better to say, I feel. It is not good to say, I know God. It is better to say that I have felt Him. We say the same thing about our lover or beloved, that I know him, I know her. But have you really felt your lover? Have you ever felt your beloved? That is more accurate description of the phenomena, because the knowledge is through the heart. Feeling comes through the heart. When knowledge is the dimension of feeling, it comes through the heart. And heart is more authentic, more pure to know. The heart is like feeling. It is not like knowledge as logicians know it. So the knowledge, the word knowledge as understood by logician is something that can be known, that can be expressed, and if something can be known, it can be made known to the others as well. This is the difference. And a mystic, on the other hand, for him, there is no knowledge, there is a feeling. And through the feeling, he feels. And feeling is the first step. Then he realizes it. And through that, he comes to know about the thing. You have come to know about your lover or beloved with the outer dimension. Knowledge is the outer dimension. Thoughts, conditionings, and all that is stuffed into you are the outer dimensions. But the inner dimension comes through the feeling, realization, and for that, awareness is the stuff. So mind is composed of thoughts. Mind is composed of thoughts, conditionings, your belief system, etc. And mind stuff is totally different. It refers to consciousness or awareness. So it is said, put the mind stuff in such an inexpressible fineness. Mind stuff means consciousness. This is what Adi Shankar calls Chitta. Is inexpressible. If a single thought is moving, if there is a single thought, it is moving, it is expressible. So to put the mind in such an inexpressible fineness means to come to the point where you are conscious, but not conscious of any thought or any conditioning or anything. Instead, and there is no thoughts floating on the inner sky of the mind. This is very delicate point and very difficult to understand, and you can miss it very easily. When thoughts float, you understand it. And the mind stuff means there is no thought floating within the mind or the inner sky of the mind, but there is awareness. We know two states of mind, one in which thoughts are there. When thoughts are there, you cannot move to the heart. When thoughts are floating, there is conditionings and all that is stuffed inside it. You cannot move to the heart. Then we know another state of the mind when yet there is another state of the mind when there is no thought floating. When thoughts are not there, you can fall asleep. That is a state of meditativeness. Then too you cannot move to the heart. Either thoughts are floating, and because of the thoughts floating and you are engrossed into it, you cannot move to the heart center, heart space. And at the same time, when there are no thoughts floating and you have fallen asleep, you cannot move to the heart. Every night for a few moments, for a few hours, you fall, you reach to the state of no thinking, no thoughts. Thoughts cease, but you do not reach to the heart space because in that state of sleep, when there are no thoughts, you are unconscious. So a very delicate balance is needed. Thoughts must cease as they cease in deep sleep, because in deep sleep thoughts also cease sometimes. There are no dreams. Thoughts must cease as they do during the state of deep sleep when there are no dreams. And you must be as aware as you are while you are awake. So during this deep sleep, there are no thoughts. And when there are no thoughts, there are no dreams, but you are unconscious. So in sleep, if you become conscious, then just like awake, these 2 points must meet. Mind must be as thoughtless as if in deep sleep. Mind must be as thoughtless, contentless as during the deep sleep. But at the same time, you must not be asleep, must be perfectly alert and awake. So 2 conditions have to come together. Number 1, I state when there are no thoughts floating on the inner sky, as happens during the deep sleep. And when this happens, you are in a dreamless state. But at the same time, you are unconscious. You have not entered into that state consciously. So the next point is you have to enter it knowingly, consciously, and totally aware. When awareness and thoughtlessness meet, when awareness and thoughtlessness meet, that is the state of meditation. Normally, meditation, we feel that Once the body is relaxed, mind becomes sometimes relaxed, but that is not a state of meditation. And most of the time, people, yes, it increases the efficiency. You become more efficient because body is relaxed, and to some extent mind is also relaxed, so the efficiency increases. And this state, when the efficiency increases, you call this state of meditation. But it is not. When awareness and the thoughtlessness meet together, they are in harmony. That is the state of meditation. That is why Patanjali says that samadhi is like susupti, sleep. Highest ecstasy, samadhi, is like deep sleep, a state of deep sleep, with only one difference. In it, you are not asleep, but the quality remains the same, thoughtless, dreamless, undisturbed, without a single ripple, totally calm and quiet, but alert. During that state, you are alert. When you are aware and there is no thought, you will feel a sudden transformation in your consciousness. And that is the point when transformation begins. So at times when you are meditating in live session with me, or within the energy field of awakened one, you reach to that point, that confluence, when there is no thoughts floating into the mind, and at the same time you are totally aware and awake of whatsoever is happening. Sometimes I notice, even in that company, in my company, the energy field, some fall asleep. But that is not meditation. It relaxes you. But you have to come out of that situation, reach to that confluence when there are no thoughts. You are in a state of absolute thoughtlessness, and at the same time there is total awareness that there is no thought, and you are not fallen asleep. In a state of thoughtlessness, you can fall asleep. That is what happens, and that time there is no dreams. So this is known as deep sleep state. So you feel relaxed. The quality remains the same, thoughtless, dreamless, undisturbed, without a single ripple, totally calm and quiet, but at the same time alert. That is a state of samadhi, as Patanjali calls it. One of the 7 limbs, one of the 8 limbs of Yoga Sutra. When you are aware and there is no thought, you will feel a sudden transformation in your consciousness. The center changes, you are thrown back to the heart center at that moment. And that is when this happens permanently in you, it is said the heart center is invoked, or you are stationed, settled in the sacred heart, as Christians call it, or kalb, as Sufis call it, or as yoga calls it, antarman. The center changes from the mind to the heart center. You are thrown to the heart, and from the heart, when you look at the world, there is no world, there is only God. The unmanifest becomes manifest. As such, in the world, the God is hidden, unmanifest, And in the dimension of heart, the world becomes invisible, only the God becomes visible. From head to the heart, when you look towards the existence, there is no God. There is, when you look from the head, and from the head you look towards the existence, you find only material existence. Matter exists, not God. Matter, material existence is the world, and this matter, material existence, the world, and God are not two things, instead, two outlooks, two perspectives, two sides of the same coin. They are the same phenomena looked from two different centers of being. It is like this. You are reached to a city for your holidays, but you reached your hotel in the night, so you could not see anything outside. It's dark, or some lights flickering, so you still want to have a look at the outside. So you look through the window, so you get a framed image of the outside. Then sun has risen in the morning, you come out of the room, you are under the blue sky, the sun is shining, there is light all around, you get a clear view of that. So sometimes while you are in the world, you get a framed image, frame vision of that which is unmanifest. So when you put matter is the outer dimension of the world of God, when looked through the dimension, through the plane of the mind. And when the same world is looked through the window of the heart, through dimension of the heart, the unmanifest becomes manifest for you. The unknown becomes known for you. The unknowable becomes knowable for you. And that is what God is. Looking at the same phenomena from two different perspectives. Therefore, put mind stuff in such an inexpressible crucible, in an inexpressible fineness, above and below, and in your heart, be totally into it, merged. You put it above. That same perspective is above the heart center, below the heart center, and in the heart center. You are totally immersed. Be simply conscious above and below in the heart. But you are in the heart. You are conscious of the phenomena above the heart and below the heart. The whole heart surrounded by simple consciousness, no thinking anywhere in particular, just being aware with no word, no verbalization, no thinking at all, just being. There are dimensions, the space below the heart center. Below the heart center, there is three centers. The center of the earth center, the center of energy, The second, the water center, the center of the field of action. How does the energy comes to action? That is that center. And when the energy interplays with the field of action, you generate vibrations. The heart, the solar plexus becomes activated, and then there are vibrations. If you are able to decipher those vibrations are love, trust, and surrender. They are not words but vibrations happening in that center. It is said, according to Hindus, Sanatan Sanskriti, that the relationship between husband and wife is of 7 lives. Now the modern man consider this as a myth. Because he cannot understand it, that's why he considers it. It is not myth. You have to understand this when I take you deeper into that. There are 7 centers: the earth center, the water center, the solar plexus, the heart center, the throat center, the third eye center, and the crown center, and before that, there is moon center. These are 7 centers. And each center operates at 4 planes: physical, emotional, spiritual, energy, and spiritual. Right? You have to experience the energy at physical level, at emotional level, at energy level, and spiritual level. In the same way, you have to experience the field of action at physical level, emotional level, energy level, and spiritual level. And then the interaction between energy and the field of activity, which is sex, at physical level, emotional level, energy level, and spiritual level. Thus, it is true that it takes 7 lives for you to complete, and 7 lives of total awareness. You can attain a fulfillment of love, the existential bioenergy that you are born with, that you know it as sex. You only then, when you experience sex at all the 7 centers and at all the 4 planes, then for the first time love blossoms out of you, out of that fulfillment. Lust disappears and dissolves into love. So this is why when Sanatan Sanskrit says your connection with your spouse, with your wife, with your husband is of 7 lives, it means that. Because there is no possibility for you to experience all these 7 chakras and all these 4 planes simultaneously in one life. So it takes a long, but there are methods. There are those who have experienced this in that at all the centers and all these 4 planes That time, the fulfillment is of such a tremendous quality. It's for the first time, love is born into you. The totality of love, as we know, that Jesus said God is love. But instead of that, it is better to say that love is God. Your lust has reached to that state that it has blossomed into love and has become godly. Enough for now.